Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Motivate You, the Winner Circle. Here, your host, June Archer. And I have some amazing guests for you. You know, every time we get in front of this mic, in front of this television, we have something amazing to share with you. But today, I'm so excited because one of these gentlemen I've known for 25 years and have seen his journey as he struggled, as he succeeded, as he went through the ups and downs and got to, he's not even at his apex yet, but I want to set it up properly. My half of my guest is a South African actor, producer, and entrepreneur who has been in the entertainment industry for over 15 years. His body of work for the years he has contributed to the growth of the TV and film industry as a whole. He's a CEO and executive producer of Ferguson Films. First made his TV debut in South Africa's popular soap Generations in 2004. With a string of successful TV and film appearances, this actor has started his own production company, Ferguson, with his wife and partner, Connie Ferguson. They started this company in 2012. My other guest is an entrepreneur, philanthropist, international film and television financier. He's a content creator, etc., etc. He's been doing this for over 15 years. And he has the saying I really love. He is bridging the cultural gaps between America and Africa through the power of entertainment, arts, tech, sports, and business. Together, these gentlemen have brought us something extraordinary on Netflix. And I hate to admit this, they told me about this. I slept on it and just authentically ran into it. It was a blessing. They have teamed up to do an amazing film and a short series on Netflix called Kings of Joburg. Please welcome to the show, Shona Ferguson and Samad Davis. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Man, I want to cut to you first, Samad. We've known each other 25 years. When I started this little thing called Hot Soul and this little eatery, and it was back then that you told me about this film, and I'm like, everyone wants to be a filmmaker, and we're all dreaming. We're all trying to do everything that we want to do. And then one day,
Wow.
you give me this DVD, and I watch it, and the same thing happened 25 years ago. I was so surprised and blessed that your dreams had come true. And it is amazing to see that you continuously keep pushing the envelope and keep succeeding. How has your journey been since Dirty Game?
Oh, wow. 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 I know you're a long time. The journey, it's been a very interesting one. I'm still enjoying the journey. And just to listen to you talk about Dirty Game, and now we're talking about Kings of Joburg. It's the same mindset and the same business model. Is just do it yourself, and it'll find a home, and people will love it, and then you just use that as leverage to go to the next thing. And so that's for me. 25 years. Well, I think 30 Game. I released that. I made it in 2001. Came out 2002, and it became a cult classic, right? That's how I met everybody in the hip hop community, from P Diddy to Queen Latifah to, from that movie. But it's the same again. It's all about the dash, right? And I just think it's the same mindset of trying to own your own content, trying to have the heart and determination to just go make it, and let the industry catch up to you.
Yeah.
And that's just my mindset since I've been in the business. Sometimes people don't know what they don't know, and a lot of people don't have vision. So and I'm not a big fan of pitching to people. I'd rather just find a way to just bring them along, kicking and screaming.
No, I love it. I love it. Shona, I'm going to ask you something similar, but it seems as though there is this movement going on in South Africa with film and television, and it looks like you have been there planting seeds from the beginning. For you, Have you continuously been doing this, or are we just now catching up what's going on? Not just you, but the movement that's going on in South Africa.
I think the work has the, we've been doing the work behind the scenes, but it's always, and I'm going to be very honest about this when I say, the inspiration in Africa has always been what's happening in Hollywood. This has always been where everybody wants to go. Everybody wants to do high quality content like that. Obviously, still staying authentic to South African stories, but the quality and the body of work, everybody has always looked at Hollywood as the mark because there's the numbers there to travel the rest of the world. Having said that, since when I started as an actor, I've always got into the industry where I never looked at myself as an actor. I always looked at myself as, I'm somebody who's learning. So I will learn everything from all the way at the bottom, how scripting starts, how the floor manager operates, everything all the way to the top. So I've always worked and always looked at myself as a behind the scenes kind of guy. Even today, obviously as an actor, when you have a body of work that people see, you become a face, a public figure. I've never looked at myself like that. I still look at myself as a creator behind the scenes. The advantage that we have fast forward to now is that the rest of the world is starting to see the kind of work that's coming out of South Africa. So there's a lot of attention into, there's talent in South Africa. There's not just South Africa, but Africa as a whole. There's talent in Africa, and there's a lot of good quality content that's ending up on the screens. And thanks to streaming services like your Netflix, where the content gets to travel worldwide. You think that you've made it locally when you have all these shows and they're successful in South Africa, until you sees overseas, and then you go, oh, so yet there's still a lot of work to be done.
And for you, and I want those who are watching, listening, to know that you are a couple hours ahead of us right now, and we're making magic happen.
Seven.
So 7 hours. So
Yep.
you may hear some glitching. There are a lot of specials that are coming out on Netflix. You have now that you have Kings of Joburg, we've seen Money, we've seen Sense8. Have those projects helped assist the popularity of what you guys are doing? Because these are international films that, like you just said, people all over the globe are getting ready to see them, and we're putting up the captions. We're making sure that people can understand the languages and the different nuances. Have those series helped you on Netflix to kind of get people to know, like, listen, you've seen it in Spanish, you've seen it in French. Now you can understand what we're doing on this continent, because there's so many things. There's another one that just came out with an English actor, and it was amazing, but it was in French. I can't remember the name right now, but amazing. And we're starting to see that we're not talented here in the States. There's so much talent globally that we can accept. We could understand, we can get to understand, we can fall in love with. And characters like Simon, Masiri, for me, I can't speak for anybody else. I don't know who else is watching, but I've been telling people to watch it. I fell in love with Simon because I'm like, he has this thing about him. He has a love for his family. He has a love for money, love for business. But he is the guy who is shepherding everything, and he has everything on his shoulders. How did you guys come about putting together this project?
It was a lot of things behind the scenes. It was 4 years in the making. And bottom line was, once you got to, okay, let's make this thing happen. At that point, it was trying to tell a story that could travel worldwide, a story that everybody could relate to. And that is why the world is created around a family. Because it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in, everybody understands the dynamics of family. And once we did that, we had to have these two alpha males in the family. And then, they are almost like all opposites because they do things differently. But at the end of the day, the question is, they really do everything that they do for their family. Now, that's one thing that, especially as black man, black woman, doesn't matter. When you look at these kind of guys, you get to forgive them for the kind of mistakes that they make. And at the end of the day, in Africa, there's a big thing going on. Samara and I have had long stories about this. There's a lot of dark African stories that people have heard about, but sometimes they think it's just tales. And some of these things are for real. In Africa, you do have people who have those kind of supernatural powers from another being. We've all heard of them. And Kings of Joburg luckily came out at a time where there was a big movement about snakes and demons in South Africa. So we didn't plan the marketing. It just happened that when it all blew up, the story came in right about that time. But at the heart of the show, it's telling a story about people that are just trying to do the best that they can to survive in this cold, cold world.
And with that, I think it was amazing. This plan was amazing. Simon has this power.
Yeah.
Was that power from his mom and also his nephew, son? While you're in the thick of things, the police come and you guys are covering him up after he gets shot, after he tries to rob the club, and they're saying, "Oh, he's trying to get this higher power." Like, what was the higher power, and where did Simon get this demon from?
So the demon or the higher power basically works this way, where to get everything that you want in life, all your wishes, all your dreams to come true, you have to sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And the sacrifices you have to sacrifice, the sacrifice is basically a life of a relative, a blood relative, which is a child, nephew, but it has to be your flesh and blood, the Masire bloodline. And in sacrificing that life, taking that life, it gives you ultimate power and the sort of loyalty from the mermaid for a span of 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So in that time, you can do whatever. You're going to get away. You'll never get caught. You're going to make a lot of money. But there comes a time where with every sacrifice, there comes a time where the demon now wants blood. And now when we get into the story of Kings of Joburg, at that point, Simon doesn't want to. He's hiding his son, which is why he has that private family. He's hiding the son because he doesn't want to sacrifice. But the mermaid, if you don't sacrifice, they will kill everybody in your circle, whether you sacrifice or not. So it's kind of like, your pound of flesh and it's due. You have to pay. So it begs the question, would you go that far? Would you rather just work and have a good, clean life, or are you going to take the shortcuts of having this dark, black magic behind the scenes for fast money? I personally don't believe in fast money, but that's the question we were throwing out there to the audience.
Right. Some do believe fast money, and I want to speak about that. I want to speak about the fast money, right? For you, this has been a journey. You have seen projects get greenlit. You have seen projects not get greenlit to the point where you said, "I'm going to do it myself." What has been the piece of advice that you've been given, Samad, to allow you to continuously create content and put it out because you believe in it?
I mean, it has to start with you first. You can't create and worry. You can't do anything, worry about what someone else is going to say and how they feel about it. If you believe it, it's a classic statement, right? Believe in yourself and pursue your dreams. You really have to unapologetically be able to do that.
Yeah.
And you got to throw it to the wall, put your best foot forward, throw it to the wall, and let it stick, and see if it sticks. Shona can tell you, we put our best foot forward. We had a lot of learning curves and fist fights and tussles, and then once it was done, we're like, okay, is it going to work? We don't know.
You don't know. You don't know.
We
That's
don't
true.
know. And we just put it out there, and all we can do is let it fly. We can't. You get to a point when you put everything, you dot your I's and cross your T's, and you just got to see what happens.
Yeah.
You just don't know. The audience is fickle, and for us, we wanted to not only just tell a great story that's universal, but we made a concerted effort to try to make sure that we touch different markets, right? So
Mm.
we wanted to be authentic to South Africa. We wanted to include Nigeria and Africa in
Yeah.
general. We wanted it to translate over into the American, the UK market. It did very well in the UK, very well
Mm.
in the US market. It was like top five in Jamaica. So it's like, wow, you know?
Mm.
So you just never know. We didn't know. But
Mm.
it's a
Mm.
blessing to be able to see it resonate. And now the pressure's on us to say, okay, now we got to outdo
What's next?
that. We got to outdo that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with
So, I
with
mean, but
with the success of shows like Power, does that
Mm.
help you want to compete and really dive in to figure out, hey, where do we go with the storyline? Like, what's
yes,
next? How do we develop these characters? Right?
absolutely.
Does Power shows
Absolutely.
like Power and Power Book Two Ghost help you?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, any great show. You look at any great show that has legs and that can carries on to the next season, whether it be Power, whether it be, you know, any kind of show that that does well at ticking the boxes to keep the characters that dilemma going to another season that you want to follow it. So
Mm.
yeah, you pay attention to all of that stuff, and again, I think is the most exciting thing for me is to see Africa be embraced this way. And,
Mm.
and,
Yeah.
and, and just blurring that line right now. So it's not all. I hear people from South Africa or Ghana and the U.S. and the hoods and the suburbs of America like, y'all doing another season or what? That's magic.
Mm. Yeah.
That's magic.
Yeah.
That's magic. It's like, it
Yeah.
used to be when I first started going to Africa 13 years ago, people used to laugh at me. Like, what are you doing in Africa?
Mm.
Like, what the hell are you doing going to Africa? Everybody asked me to bring to Africa.
What? No,
Including
you're
you,
absolutely
Joe.
right. And I
So,
look forward to that opportunity. I think
yes,
that Shona is going to allow me to have a platform that brings, the equivalent of Arsenio to South Africa. So I think that we're to inspire Shona to create something that I'll be able to bring my magic over there.
There you go.
You got to put it out there. But I do remember, Samad, that years ago you said, man, I've been going back to the motherland. I'm going, and I'm like, all right. And I know, someone like you, who is a visionary, I knew that there's something cooking. I couldn't tell you what it was, but I knew that something was cooking. Shona, for you, uh, we're in a pandemic. We're trying to find our way out. We're trying to navigate this thing as best as we can. And both of you guys are on set. You guys are working. How has this opportunity during this time helped you as a creative to has it helped you buckle down to really dive into things? Has it limited you in terms of the filming? How have you been able to navigate around this particular time that we're all dealing with right now?
I think it boils down to, the spirit of entrepreneurship or being a creator. You're in a position where you always have to adapt. Like
Mm-hmm.
with every challenge that's thrown your way, you have to navigate through it and find how to come out on the other side. And with the pandemic, everybody was hit and everybody sat back and went, okay, what are we gonna do? I mean, I have a daily show that's been running for 5 years, and it was difficult because we all had to shut down during the lockdown. In that period, you have to put yourself in a position where you go, okay, do I give up and throw in the towel? But now there's hundreds of people that are on payroll that you can't get, that depend on you to keep going. Not only that, giving up means everybody's going to give up on a shutdown, then the economy goes down. So for me, I'm not going to lie and be honest and say it pushed me into another creative place. I think it pushed me to another level. How then do we create content and make it work in the current environment? And it's been a challenge, but every day we learn how to do it better and better and better. And of course, it becomes costly because, safety first, safety first. Right now, I'm in the middle of shooting 3 projects at the same time right now. One is a high action drama, one is like a rom-com, and obviously the telenovela. And you have these 3 shows where you go, how do I keep up and make sure that the crew is safe, the actors are safe, the suppliers, everybody is just protected in the pandemic because we have to do our part to be safe. So in a way, what it has done, the pandemic, is it's put us all in a place where most of us now work from home when you're not shooting. I think that's where the creative juices for me started flowing. And, I'm a lot more creative now than I was before the pandemic. I know it sounds weird, but creatively I am. I feel like there's a lot more hunger in terms of a lot more things to do. Now you have a vision board, you have the targets, you put them up there on the wall, and you go, I have to do this and that and that and that and that. So it's been tough, but we're on the other side, and I don't think it's looking that bad because everybody's really stepping up, and we can only do the best that we can.
Yeah, I would second that. I'm sorry. I would second that. That's why I would never change growing up in the hood for anything in the world. All you could do is pivot all your life. So I mean, I've business wise, I've had a tremendous business year during the pandemic. I'd be very honest with you, across the board in different capacities. But I'm constantly, like Shona said, I'm constantly retooling, and when people see hardship, I look for opportunity. Right? You see, everybody sees the glasses half empty. I see it as half full, and that's just how I try to look at things. And a lot of the fat has been cut out, right? Because everybody's doing something, right? When things were good, everybody's this, everybody's that. I do this, I do that, and then when things tighten up, you see who's who in the zoo.
No, I believe you're gonna the cream will rise to the top. Most certainly, it always does.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, people are looking at the glass half right now. For the young person who's looking to excel in the creative space, who wants to do film and television in South Africa, this is specifically to you, Shona, what is the best piece of advice that you could give someone starting out now, but they just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel?
I think the assumption is that the entertainment industry is all glitz and glam. You have to put in the work. And if you're not passionate, if you don't have the passion and you're not willing to put in the work, forget it. That's the first thing I'm going to say. So you have to push. I mean, we've heard this a million times, but you really have to follow through in your dreams. You really, really have to work hard. Humility, work hard, stay humble. Samad always says this, and I totally agree. Find the right people to work with. Once you find the right people to work with, it's all to the top from there, because the minds are like, we all want the same things. But you just can't give up. You can't be knocked down and then you go, I quit. You really have to go all out and do your best.
For you, Samad.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, everybody has a phone, right? Everybody has a phone and has a camera on it. So, proof of concept. If you have an idea, a little story you want to tell, use your phone and create that visual, tell that story, even if it's not on the high end. And you might do that on the small end. It might take that to someone like a Shona, or he might see it, or it might go viral. And it's like, hey, that's the person. Look at Issa Rae, her show, Insecure, she did her own little thing on YouTube. Found an audience, right? And the rest is history. I mean, so there's no one, if anyone is waiting for anybody to green light something, you should just stop and just green light it yourself. And that might be with your camera and your story out, your idea. And a friend or two who want to act, try acting. Just make it. I'm serious. Just try to make it happen. No one is gonna give you anything. You have to create an opportunity and then see who joins you later. People like to get behind momentum, right?
That's true.
Create that momentum.
With anything.
With anything. Create that momentum.
Everyone loves a success story. They love the rags to riches. They love the from the bottom to the
Yeah.
top. So that is some
Yeah.
great advice. Uh,
Yeah.
Samad, music is a soundtrack to our lives. You create the soundtrack via film. But what song best represents your journey up to this point? Or what artist can you share with us
Artists.
today that
You
celebrates
know,
what you stand for?
I got hit to him later in life, but it's my go-to artist in the music. I mean, the playlist can go on forever, but the music puts me in a trance, opens my mind creatively, and it bridges that gap. And that artist is Fela Kuti.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you think about all those black exploitation movies and all that stuff in the 70s and all that funky music, a lot of that stuff is sampled from him too. His music. That's here in America. But so that's the American side, and then that African petrol fuel is in that music that really just connects it all for me. So that's I was listening to him this morning driving to set. It just takes me out there. So if you're not up on Fela Kuti, get up on
All right.
Fela Kuti. They have
All right.
Fela Kuti parties. You know that?
No, I didn't know
Well,
that.
before
I
the
didn't know that.
No.
pandemic, before the pandemic, it might be Fela Kuti night at some venue, and it's just all his music, and it's the craziest thing you ever seen.
All
Yeah.
right. So I'm going to tap into that. For you, Shona, what is it or who is it?
The one thing that drives me, as a guy, a kid who grew up with nothing, this rags to riches storyline, whatever, all of that, is my mindset is always like do something that's going to last forever and never stop. So there's like when you ask that question, the first, I'm not going to lie to you, all honesty, two songs popped in my head, and that's Ace Hood's Hustle and Keith Sweat's Make It Last Forever.
Good
So if you
combination.
it's like the two songs just popped in my head, and I was like, that's it. Because when I'm feeling good and I feel like, okay, I hit the mark, I'm always like, hustle, hard. It's one of those things. And then Key Sweat, Make It Last Forever. Look, the lyrics might be saying something else, but whatever you do, you have to make it last forever.
That's
You
dope.
guys have been doing this for a very long time. What continues to motivate you to create content, to create something that people have to fall in love with, or something that you fall in love with? And it doesn't really matter if it catches fire or not. Kings of Joburg is here and people are falling in love with it. But I'm certain there are times where you create something and it just didn't do well in the marketplace, or just at the end of it, you just didn't feel well. What continues to motivate you to continue to create?
For me, my kids, my wife and kids motivate me. I'm not gonna lie. I look at my family and I go, I will do whatever it takes to make my kids and my wife happy. So that keeps me going, you know, as a man, as a person who has to keep the mind right always. But what inspires me every time I do something is looking at a project straight from the mind onto a piece of paper, and you see the final product on screen and how the audience appreciates it. It's the same in my other businesses. I like seeing the end product being consumed or appreciated by the people that you created it for. So that inspires you to keep going.
For you,
I
Samad,
would
what can
agree.
motivate you?
I would agree. Family first, always. Legacy, and I
Mm,
also realized during this I always knew this, but more than anything, has been crystallized during this pandemic. We are essential workers. You know they say essential workers, right?
mm,
I
Can you
love it. I love
imagine?
it.
Just
mm.
think for a second. I don't care.
Yeah, we lost him there for a second. He's on set
Lost, yeah,
doing his thing.
yeah,
Shona, I want to ask you, man. For you, you were behind the camera. You're in front of the camera in
yeah,
Kings of Joburg. How did you make the
yeah,
transition? You obviously have been acting, but was it something
yeah.
that was intentional, or was it something that you said, you know what, one day after I'm behind the camera, I want to step out in front of the camera?
It's always been the plan that, from front of camera, I'm going to step behind the camera. I also direct. I've tried to direct a project I was on. I don't know how Tyler Perry does it. Much respect, I bow down. I tried it and I was broken. I was tired. So, some people are cut out for it, some people are not. But I've always had that I'm going to transition to eventually just be behind the scenes. I'm very passionate about performing, so I'm still loving it. But it becomes very hard. But I have to compartmentalize everything. So when I walk on set, I'm an actor. I work for this production. I'm going to give it my heart and soul. And my team knows that about me. So they sort of, back off. I'll get the emails when I get home in the evening, but they know how to allow me to just be a performer. So I get to separate these things. And
Right.
that has helped me a lot. Yeah. Because then I get to focus on that, deliver, and go home and do something else. Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. Let's get
Yeah.
this young man back in. Um, so we
I'm
were
so
talking
sorry. I
about
was trying to set. Yeah, I got you. My
no, you're
phone
good.
rang and knocked
And
me off.
I want to jump to
I
I
would,
want to jump to this really quickly because I know you guys are on
Yeah.
set. I don't want to hold you guys too long, but there is an energy that is coming from the motherland, and when this pandemic is over, because I do believe that we will see the end of this thing sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
What would you say to the people who are saying, I don't know, like, you know, animals and monkeys are running around. I don't know. Like, I've heard that it looks like Manhattan. Some parts look like Atlanta. What would be
True.
your pitch? It sounds funny, right? But there are people who really believe like it's not civilized, right? And I'm
Yeah.
at,
Yeah.
I,
just in being all seriousness, I've been talking to a lot of people from the motherland and saying you have to come. There's so much opportunity here. How would you
100%.
pitch those who are here to come to the continent to experience it for themselves?
Samad, tell them.
I would say, again, I mentioned earlier that people used to laugh like, "What are you doing?" And then that turned into "Bring me," right? And I've brought so many different celebrities from Hollywood in different parts of Africa over time, and I've always shared nothing but positivity on my social media platforms. And when these artists come, they share their experiences as well. And it's turned into in Hollywood, people who think of Africa or going over there or doing some kind of project. I typically get the call for one thing or another, even if it's just advice. Um, there's a lot of things that's happening. I'm working with a few different governments on the tourist boards as they try to attract more, especially African Americans, into to come to Africa. So I've been doing some consulting with a few different countries as it relates to that. And I think once this pandemic is over, everybody's ready to travel. And the more exotic
Mm,
the travel opportunity is, the
mm,
better for them. Africa, I'm gone. How many suitcases? I know
mm.
how many shots I need. That's where
Yeah.
people are coming from. So I don't think it's a matter. Black Panther helped a lot. So I don't
Yeah.
even think it's a matter of convincing people to come to Africa now. People are like, I want to go.
Uh,
Which way should I go? How long should
mm,
I stay? That's the kind of
mm,
conversations that are happening now. But if I could just
mm.
double back really quickly to the point I was trying to make before I got disconnected, which was we are essential workers. Can you imagine what life would be like if people like us didn't go out and create content for the rest of the world to sit at
Mm-hmm.
home and watch? I don't care how much money you had or
Yeah.
what industry you're in, whether it be Netflix, Amazon, regular TV, the opportunity to escape in this crazy environment and just escape mentally and binge watch something. We kept the crime rate down, and I mean, better than it would have been. The divorce rate, the suicide rate. Can you
Yeah.
imagine if people didn't
Mm,
have content, things to escape and watch? People would be jumping out the buildings, left, right, and center.
mm,
So
mm.
we help keep we have helped keep society a bit contained while we're going crazy in other areas. So that's the power of this industry. People might have thought it's just, it's fluff, it's just entertainment, but
Mm.
it's so essential because we help the mental health of society.
Yeah.
Think about that for a minute.
It's very true. It's very true. Shona, what is next for Ferguson Films? What we look forward to? Where can we find you and where can we follow you?
I'm on Instagram. My handle is at Ferguson Films. and on Twitter as well. My handle there is at Shona_Ferguson. A lot coming up from Ferguson Films. Samad and I are about to drop a bomb that will let everybody know about very, very, very soon. But there's a lot of stuff coming up that we're excited about. I mentioned earlier, shooting 3 projects right now. It's been tough, but we're grateful to be able to work in this time is a blessing, and we can only thank God for that. So a lot coming up, and we appreciate the support that we got from Kings of Joburg, across the world, and there's just more coming.
Awesome. For you,
Yep.
Samad, what do we got next, brother? You never cease to amaze me.
No, I think he hit it right on the nail right on the head. I'm actually on set right now. That's why I'm in the car, just to be able to talk to you. And again, it's tricky shooting in this COVID environment. We're testing 3 times a week and all the different protocols. We can't have a van travel people together. Everybody's for themselves. So, I mean, right now I'm on set shooting a series called Making Up a Mogul, the first U.S. edition, where we cover entrepreneurs, various entrepreneurs, their world, their empires, their trials and tribulations, each episode. And so we got some of the best and brightest entrepreneurs in the ATL that we've been covering. So that's what we're shooting right now. That's another series that will be coming out. And there's more to come.
And where can we follow you? What's your handle? Where can people follow you?
I'm just at Samad Davis, just like it says on my screen.
Listen, gentlemen, I really appreciate your time. Shona, I know you're 7 hours ahead of us, man, but you are here.
Yeah.
You're present. I really appreciate you. Please give my love to the cast and crew, what you were doing and what you were on. Samad, please be safe. You guys made some amazing points. If you are looking to create something, don't wait for someone to give you the green light or give you the finances to do it. We live in a right now where you could pick up your phone. You could shoot it right now. The cameras are the craziest they've ever been in our lives. And so many programs are out there that you could download, and you could create your own audience. Just fall in love with what you want. Tell your story, your authentic self. Shona has done it. Samad has done it. They have done it together. You can catch their series right now. You can stream it right now on Netflix. It is amazing. I promise you. And I promise you'll be blessed for watching it. It'll open up your mind and share it with somebody else. I'm June Archer. This is the Winner Circle Motivate You. My guest, Shona Ferguson, Davis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you tell somebody that you love them. It could be the last time you see them. Life is short, but don't make it shorter by not telling someone that you love them when you have the opportunity to do so. Please like us, share us, tune in every time we drop. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. It's your guy, Archer. Peace.
Thank you. Thank you.
Peace.